It's another day to be great. I'm Charbel Milan, and this is A Time Shared. On today's episode, we have Ty, the crypto priest, joining us as we discuss all things crypto, NFTs, DeFi tokens, and understanding centralized versus decentralized currency. Hope you enjoy. And just like every other time, we are back. My name is Charbel Milan. Today we got
Ty Cooper, also known as the Crypto Priest, depending on who you are.
And this is A Time Shared. So, Ty, just before we get up to speed, you know how it goes. If you just want to give the people a quick intro on who you are, what you do, and then we'll dive right in, man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I am a cryptocurrency investor and also blockchain developer. And one of the main things that I do is I not only educate people about cryptocurrencies, but I also help businesses and other projects come bring a lot of their financial infrastructure into this new encrypted space. So you're in for a ride.
Here's the thing, man. I've been really excited for this one because, like I told you, I'm a crypto investor myself, heavily invested. I used to be in stocks, options, got completely out of that. Now it's 100% crypto. And we got a lot of interesting things to talk about, but I guess just to get things going, for someone who's watching right now that doesn't really understand what's been going on these last 4 months and how important it's been for the crypto space, if you just want to get them up to speed on, like, let's say maybe like December until now and how things have just kind of catapulted.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I've been in crypto space for a while, ever since I was in high school, basically. And I never really seen something as crazy as I see now. So, everything okay?
Oh yeah, everything's great, man.
All right,
I'm hype.
Yeah, I'm hyped too. One of the craziest things that really kicked off this bull run has been the non-fungible tokens and NFTs. So those are encompassed with this whole building a new decentralized internet. That's essentially what this whole goal has been since the beginning, with Satoshi Nakamoto creating Bitcoin. His main primary focus was to create a essentially decentralized net, but in the form of a coin, which is Bitcoin. But for those who don't know what cryptocurrency is, it's think of it as a form of monetary value that is not controlled by a central governing body or no company, in a sense. So yeah.
So for everyone who doesn't know, and correct me if I'm wrong, didn't he go missing?
It's not that he went missing. It's more so he remained anonymous. So what his main goal was to essentially create this coin, or this ecosystem actually. And when some people say he went missing, some people say he went dead, but to be truthfully honest, no one really knows. He could be playing the greatest game of hide and go seek right now. But yeah, it's that mysticism of this figure that essentially made him seem as one of those mysterious figures that people make profits or something about. So yeah, he's definitely an icon for the crypto space.
So basically, he makes Bitcoin. Then, it's not really taken that seriously. It's primarily used for, like, black market deals, anonymous, currency transfers, all that kind of stuff. If you dive into Silk Road, you hear a lot about crypto and Bitcoin. And that's kind of where it was for like 8 years. But then it just took off.
Right.
And especially because it can't be controlled, right? So do you think that for the people, that's interesting? Because obviously for, like, the governments and the institutions, that's dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. So what you're going to start seeing, and you're already seeing it now, is a lot of these centralized bodies that previously had a dominance control over financial means in the sense of gold or in the sense of fiat, are now starting to turn to Bitcoin and trying to figure what this thing is. So you're already seeing in places like India and Nigeria where they are blocking and banning cryptocurrency. Some say they'll probably argue it's like, oh, it's this new technology that's going to harm people. But what they're really doing is, okay, we got to hold it aside for now until we can figure out how to take control over it. So you're going to start seeing a lot of governance put heavy regulation on it, either for the good or the bad. But you're definitely going to see the government try to have their hand in it.
Okay, so I'm super excited for this, man. Okay, so because I really see. Geraldo was talking to us about DeFi. He really started to get into DeFi, and then that's when Will brought you up. He was like, "Bro, if you want to learn DeFi, you go talk to Ty." And so I'm really interested to learn more about DeFi and NFTs. But I know a lot of the people listening, they might not be completely up to speed on what I know, so I want to get them there. So as far as blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, like what exactly is happening? Like what exactly gives it value?
Okay, but now we're opening up the hood on this one. So I'll keep it general, just for
feel free to go as deep as you want.
Yeah, because I don't want to lose too many people in regards to this. But you can almost think of blockchain as a ledger receipt ecosystem. So just how any action that you happen on the internet is logged, whether you like a post, whether you send a message, whether you log in for a specific time, all that's logged on this database. So but that database is stored on a server somewhere and it's centralized. See, the internet actually started out decentralized with Tim Berners-Lee creating the World Wide Web and having companies create servers and being a part of it. But what happened was you had companies like Google and Amazon and Facebook started in a sense become gatekeepers.
Oh, okay.
So how Bitcoin tied in this, Bitcoin came in more as the financial sector with the whole housing market crash. So it's funny enough, blockchain is not even mentioned in the original Bitcoin white paper. If you read it, I know people who read that thing back to back, cover to cover. It's not mentioned at all. So it wasn't until later, I forgot who it was, but it was a scientist. He said the way in the actions of how Bitcoin interacted ultimately generate the name blockchain. So a blockchain that was the history of blockchain in a sense, and it's a record keeping system. Now, when cryptocurrency comes into that aspect, in order for a blockchain to work, you need what are called nodes, or this is where the term mining comes in, where people run a computer to process the transactions on the blockchain. So what's the difference between how it works now and how it works on the blockchain is that with servers, a company's running a server somewhere, and they obviously have to pay for energy and they have to pay for certain things, but they have a large data bank, so they're able to process a lot more transactions in a particular space. The logistics of that becomes a little more convoluted and complicated when you have random people across the net trying to process certain transactions. So cryptocurrency acts as that incentive to incentivize these miners and incentivize these node providers for providing this computing power.
Oh, okay. So mining is basically, it's so when people are like, I mine Bitcoin, they're basically being compensated for having the hardware set up to process transactions for other people.
That's
correct.
What
gas fees are?
Yes. So gas fees, every blockchain is going to have their different names for gas fees, finance fees, but Ethereum, reason people love Ethereum so much is it's a completely different archetype from Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is on that blockchain is just Bitcoin, and it doesn't really have the capability for programmability, meaning you can't really build apps on it. The main purpose of Bitcoin is just sending Bitcoin from A to B, Alice to Bob, where Ethereum, when Vitalik, he actually created Ethereum when he was 17. 10 years later, he's a billionaire now.
Jesus.
So he saw Bitcoin as a unique technology, but it was lacking features. So he ultimately created Ethereum to allow what are called smart contracts. Smart contracts, you can almost think of those as a virtual vending machine. You put in a coin and you get out Y service or product. And that is what led to this insurgence of decentralized applications and all these meme coins people talk about, because it makes it easier for people to interact, build a currency or build a service without the need of having to build their own blockchain, because having to build your own blockchain is very complicated process for someone who's not tech savvy.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is Bitcoin is like the mothership, but it's kind of it's kind of dry.
In a sense, I say dry in terms of its overall usability.
Utility, yeah, other than acting as a currency,
Right.
as a decentralized currency. Well, deregulated currency.
Yeah, deregulated, absolutely.
But then Ethereum is programmed, and I learned that recently when I got into SafeMoon, because SafeMoon is built on Binance Chain.
Right.
So that's why I was like, oh, we got to buy Binance and then swap it from the Binance Chain to Smart Chain, and then and I was like, oh, that's because this is basically Binance coin in a way.
In a sense.
But like its own version. So then with Ethereum, oh my God. So that's why NFTs are going to take off, because it's all based on Ethereum.
Well, right.
They keep the time. Okay, wait, we're jumping ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry.
You can see, I love your energy. I love the vibes. Absolutely.
Okay. So wait 1 sec. Let me just calm myself down. So Ethereum ultimately is like a whiteboard. You can get up there and you can do things to it, and ultimately you can use it as a function.
Right.
Whereas, so it's basically like the programmable Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Okay. So then that's where you have all these little tree branches that come off.
Exactly. So that's where you have all these applications and things come around from Ethereum. It's even interesting. People bring up other blockchains, Ethereum killers per se, with Polkadot and Cardano. Well, a lot of those guys started from Ethereum. Yeah, Ethereum has issues, and we can get into that. But those guys are building blockchains themselves, but they stemmed from a lot of their IP is embedded in Ethereum, the base of Ethereum.
Jesus, dude. Okay, so wait a minute. I want to get in. I feel like this is a good time to bring up Ethereum 2.0.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
You just mentioned that Ethereum has a bunch of issues and they want to fix it.
Right.
So before we get into Ethereum 2.0, are the people that already have Ethereum, aka myself, you, are we immediately going to get Ethereum 2.0, or what's happening? What's it going to fix? Everything under the sun, pretty much.
I'll say definitely majority of the issues that Ethereum is having right now. One of them is the high gas fees. That's due to the high demand. So when Ethereum first created, it was supposed to be a demo. They didn't really build it to be a complete application. They really built it just to be a prototype of a system. So Ethereum 2.0 is essentially going to be the first complete Ethereum project. So that's why a lot of people who bash on Ethereum, I kind of see where they're coming from, but also at the same time, I have more sympathy for the ETH devs just because what they were dealing with at the time. And especially when a lot of the heads aren't there, they moved on to their own blockchains and building out better systems. So that's one of the main issues, is the scalability. And another issue that Ethereum has is the whole mining aspect. So if you hear this keyword, this proof of stake with Ethereum, that's tagged with Ethereum 2.0, that's going to come in Ethereum 2.0, because right now Ethereum uses the same mechanism, the same consensus algorithm, which is the base operation of the blockchain, which is mining, and that's the same concept that Bitcoin uses. So a lot of people complain about the energy costs, and that's a big factor, especially all these NFT haters on Twitter and YouTube that says, oh, NFTs this, NFTs that, and they always bring up environmental costs, and that's just due to the infrastructure. So we can go even beyond that and say that's not technically a blockchain problem. That's more so our energy infrastructure issue, but that's something way outside the scope.
Which I completely agree with. I do agree with, because we need electricity.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, when are you going to happen when everyone gets more smartphones, more electric cars, all the aspects? Like here in the state, we're having a gas shortage.
Is that why it went up?
Yeah, that's why gases are going up in the state.
Damn.
So we're having a gas shortage right now, and that's going to ultimately push to more EVs and more energy usage. So going back to your original question, are you going to get Ethereum 2.0? I think you'll be able to merge your coins over once most of the aspects come out. So that's what I believe.
Okay. See, it's just so hard to have this conversation, man, because you keep bringing up all these things that I want to get into. One of them being staking, lending. And I want to bring that up as we get closer to DeFi.
Right. Yeah, because a lot of those are DeFi aspects.
Right. So while we're still on Ethereum, what are some of the other major issues as far as the technology goes? Like, let's say, screw the infrastructure, screw the gas fees, pay the fees, right?
Right.
What about the actual technology?
Right. So the actual technology at Ethereum 2.0 is going to come out in phases. This is actually one of the reasons why Ethereum went up since December. So December the 1st, 2020 is the start of the first phase of Ethereum 2.0. It's not going. Ethereum 2.0 isn't going to come out all at once. It's more so comes out in phases.
Okay.
So like Marvel movies, they don't bring you all the movies at once. You know, they bring you out in phases. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5. So that's, you can predict Ethereum 2.0 is going to be like that. One of them is the beacon chain. So it's instead of all. So one of the biggest issues they're really tackling is scaling, and scaling meaning processing a lot more transactions at a faster moment. What Ethereum wants to do is they want to become on the same bandwidth as Visa, processing 90,000 transactions per second. Right now, Ethereum can only do around 7 to 15 currently. And it's a huge step. So what comes of that is going to come called sharding. So instead of every single transaction happening on the Ethereum blockchain and clogging it up, you're going to have splinter blockchains. So instead of it being a train track, it's going to look more like a tree. So all of these different side chains and shards are going to have their own interactions, and in bulk, the summary of it all is going to be pushed on the mainnet. So that way everything keeps consistent.
Holy shit.
And then the Casper protocol, that is the staking / proof of stake consensus algorithm. So, we didn't get into it. So the main difference between mining and proof of stake or staking is.
So what is staking before you explain that?
Yeah. So staking is instead of, well, the overall idea of staking is you put your money in a protocol or some type of
liquidity pool.
Yeah. Well, that's a little different.
Oh, okay.
That's same concept, but different aspects.
Okay.
So you're putting it in some type of protocol, and then you generally earn interest off of that protocol because you are supplying the network with a resource that the network's going to use from. And every time the network uses your funds, you also get paid back in your funds.
Okay.
So with those fees, currently gas fees goes directly to miners, but in Ethereum 2.0, those fees are going to go to people who do proof of staking. And the core difference is instead of you needing like a farm facility sized area to filled with servers just to mine your cryptocurrencies, you won't need that. All you need is a resource, which is the funds. So this is when you ever see people say, when Ethereum 2.0 Foundation says you need 32 Ether, that is your stake in the Ethereum network.
Oh my God. So they're basically going to allow people to own part of the network.
Yeah, in a sense.
Yeah, and then so basically what you're doing is you're giving them your portion of the network to allow them to process transactions on it, and then being compensated for.
Precisely.
Wow.
Precisely.
Isn't it crazy that that's what basically banks do to us?
Yeah, that's what banks do all the time. Yeah.
And that's what they don't want us to be able to do.
No, not
That's
at
like
all.
the issue, man. And geez, okay, so I feel like this is a perfect tie-in. We'll get to NFTs, but this is a perfect tie-in to DeFi, right?
Right. I will say to be good at NFTs, it's better to understand DeFi before you head into NFTs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just recap. So basically, staking is when you put up your funds and they kind of hold them and they pay you interest on it because they're basically using it to process transactions.
Right.
And basically, staking is going to be the more advanced version of mining, incorporated with Ethereum 2.0. And once again, Ethereum is used to apply applications like assign contracts and so forth. Okay.
Right. So just to recap, blockchain is this receipt of networks to where everything's logged on. Cryptocurrency is the money on the blockchain where it incentivizes people to trade, buy, and purchase or sell certain assets, almost like a miniature economy. Smart contracts are services, applications on the blockchain. So just like apps like you have with PayPal or Cash App, or even beyond that, where you like Facebook or Google's a search engine application. All of those can be smart contracts, but in decentralized aspects. And now when we go into DeFi, is banking on the blockchain. So a lot of the so all the banking aspects that you get, like let's say for example, credit, borrowing, lending, insurance, and staking, savings, checkings, hedge funding, all of that are DeFi applications.
So what exactly is DeFi? It's obviously decentralized finance, but what exactly, like a lot of people, man, they hear words like that, decentralized finance, and like they get it, but at the same time, people don't even realize what centralized finance is. They don't even realize how banks make money, how they literally create money by only having to hold 10% and then being able to just continually loan out the other 90% and so forth. So as far as DeFi goes, how do you decentralize a finance? Like what makes something decentralized?
Well, so when we throw out that term, people say, what they try and get that mindset in their head. What is decentralized? Decentralized is a network of interactions where people don't know each other, and it all works beautifully. And people say, so for example, your bank, you have to trust Wells Fargo to manage your money. You got to hope Wells Fargo doesn't go under. And when Wells Fargo goes under, you got to hope and pray and trust the government is there to protect you. And so that is all. You have to trust them and them to trust you, this, that, and the third. But decentralized, you don't need to trust anybody. Reason why is because you don't trust anybody, so everyone's validating everybody. Think about it. I love this. I love this analogy. So a girlfriend who is very, very paranoid that her boyfriend's cheating on him, she's going to check all his tweets. She's going to check all his messages. She's going to freaking put an air tag track on him when he comes out, seeing where he is 24 hours a day.
I literally just read about that today too. The air tag thing.
Yeah,
that's crazy. You brought that up.
Yeah, so that's just an analogy. So everybody on this decentralized network is paranoid to think that the other person you're trading with is out to get your money. So you're verifying everything. So that is what the difference between centralized and decentralized. One is a system built on trust, and one is a system not based on trust. Now, how you integrate finance into it all is where we bring in with a lot of banking tools. So I'll start simple. So people are becoming more familiar with having their money on your phone, right? So, let's say you are a Forex trader, or even more, someone who sells something online, something a lot of people can relate to. It doesn't matter what it is, right? You get money to your phone, right? And Cash App, let's say PayPal, they can stop you at any time if they feel like even if they don't like your business model, they can stop you. Or if you do something completely irrelevant to your business, they can stop money coming to your funds. They can hold your funds, and they don't even have to tell you why sometimes. And that is one of the biggest pain points a lot of people have. Now, cryptocurrency does solve that problem when it comes to you holding your own keys and holding your own funds. But now what happens if, oh crap, your business is going down, now you need a loan. And now if you go to the bank, well, the bank's going to say, well, PayPal stopped you, Cash App stopped you, so I'm not going to lend you something. And this is very relevant for a lot of people who have bad credit. They said, you try to get a card this time, you try to see if you got a card that time, you try to apply for that card, and all these things, your points, yeah, we're not going to approve you. So somebody will go, but let's say this person has money, let's say 10,000 saved up, but they don't want to use that. So one of the biggest aspects that comes from DeFi is that they could take collateralized loans. You could do this too in the real world, but it works a little differently. They don't need to know who you are. There's no papers to sign. There's no the waiting period to see if you get approved. None of that.
You got the money.
Right.
That's it.
So let's say Cash App was open and say, okay, we're going to let you withdraw your funds in crypto. So you take your 10K in crypto, reasonable amount, and you put it in this DeFi protocol, and you can borrow against that. Now, how that works is you are supplying to the network, let's say Ethereum, right? Let's say you supply Ethereum at when it's $1,000, and then that $10,000 you can borrow against. Now, the smart contract is going to have different terms and stuff set up that you have to pay attention to, but just keep it simple. you say, okay, out of that 10,000, you only need 5. And the reason why you want to take a loan out is because you know that Ethereum's going up, but you don't want to sell your Ethereum to pay for something that you need to have. So let's say, for example, when Tesla came out, when you can buy Tesla with Bitcoin. Well, a lot of people don't want to sell their Bitcoin because they know how valuable that thing is. So they are going to put it up for collateral, and they're going to borrow against it in cash. And then they'll use that cash to do whatever they need.
Huh. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's almost like they're trying to integrate real world money and cryptocurrency because they kind of realize, like, all right, this transition is going to take a second. People still want money, but they don't want to sell their crypto.
Right.
Because I was having this conversation yesterday where we were talking about Ethereum.
Right.
And I was just like, I was telling my brother-in-law, I was like, listen, man, like, let's just talk about something else because I'm cashed out. Because everything that you get into, you don't want to sell.
Right.
So it's basically like, oh, I want this. I want some of this. I want some of that. I want some of that. And then it's like, well, I kind of want some of that. And then you talk to someone else. They're like, dude, did you hear about this, this, and that? And you're like, Jesus, I got to make more money.
Exactly.
And it's basically the same thing. So,
yeah.
Okay, you give them the money. Excuse me. You give them the crypto, and they give you roughly like 35%, 30%.
It's somewhere around there. It depends on what service you're using. See, for me, I personally use the actual decentralized applications like Compound, Aave, and Makers, and also Venus, which is on the Binance Smart Chain. Those can give you as high as 80%. But if you're going to use a service that simplifies it for you, like BlockFi or Celsius, then they're going to give you around 30 to 40% just because they want to make some money too, because they're business too. So
that's Will was talking about
BlockFi.
Yeah, BlockFi.
Yeah,
or I think Celsius. I don't even remember. Damn. Okay. So here's the thing. A lot of people don't realize that, like, okay, cryptocurrency is great, and the concept of everyone putting their money in one place does give something value.
Right.
The same way, like, people could say, and I argue this a lot, like, let's say 6 million people watch this interview versus like 6 people. I personally don't think it changes the level of value, but people perceive that it does. It's like, well, if everyone watched it, there must be something there, right?
Exactly, yes.
And so it's kind of like that with crypto, but at the same time, it's not, because a lot of people don't realize that every single one of these currencies, they do something. They do something unique.
Right.
And like, I guess not Doge. Like Doge, Doge is the only one, from my understanding, it doesn't do anything. It's just
we'll get into Doge after we get off the DeFi aspects, because that's where we go into meme coins.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to wrap it back to the DeFi aspects. So what's interesting is some people don't even use DeFi platforms to borrow, to use as a borrower. They can, but some people are just straight lenders, and you can look at terms and things like that. And also too, when you put up your collateral, you're also earning interest. Now you don't lose that collateral at all until so there's a threshold. Now if the funds that you borrow, if you borrow too much and it surpasses your threshold, then that's when the collateral you put up gets liquidated. Not all of it, only 80% of it, because they only give you up to 80%, because the network needs some of those funds just in case if the market moves really fast. The smart contract needs to have some liquidity to be able to execute that.
If you don't mind me for a second, stopping you right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you still earn on the money?
Yeah.
Like, so, okay, wait.
Yeah.
This is crazy. So you can also continue to earn on the crypto that you have that's appreciating, and you're getting interest, and you can borrow real world money with it. Jesus.
Yeah.
Why don't people know about this?
Because they're too busy trying to buy Doge. Or Safe Moon, or one of those other meme coins, which is great on them. I don't coin shame at all. Hey, I'm crypto neutral.
Please don't, man. I'm up on Safe Moon.
I'm crypto neutral. It's just there's better tactics to go about certain things.
Yeah.
There's always better tactics. That's
Trust me. I feel that. I'm like kind of contradicting myself, because I feel it, but then I'm like, I'm invested in meme coins,
right?
You know, so it's weird. But so you're bringing up smart contracts. We kind of just covered DeFi. Now I want to get into understanding NFTs.
Okay.
Right? Because people, well, I always make a mistake of generalizing, but for the most part, a person who's, somewhat informed in the crypto space understands what NFTs are, like, but they don't, because some people will be like, oh, well, I can just go screenshot that, and what's the difference I have it right here on my phone. But they don't understand that it's like, it's kind of like the girlfriend thing. Like, that's proof that this is authentic. It's almost like with shoes and Gucci belts and all that. Like,
yeah.
like I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
No. You was on a roll there. No, I definitely want to stop you. You definitely understanding good aspect of it. It's funny because I have so many Twitter fights about this. It's crazy. So, yes, NFT. Just going back to the whole screenshot thing. NFTs aren't just the picture. People aren't buying pictures. That's what OnlyFans is for.
Yo, people are up on OnlyFans.
Yeah, I know. And not to hate on OnlyFans or anything.
I know. I wish I was a hot chick at this point, man. Jesus. Anyway.
But I bring that up as a concept. People's like, oh, this is no different than OnlyFans things. I was like, no, it's a little different because. So I'll start simple and start to get deeper into it because this thing can branch out to many ways. So with NFTs, the core concept of it, they're tokens, just like cryptocurrencies. So the main difference between a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge, or any of those aspects, and an NFT NFTs are unique. So your Bitcoin, my Bitcoin, Will Bitcoin, all our Bitcoin, if we all had one Bitcoin, it's going to be the same value wherever we go. However, NFTs are unique. Each token is in the metadata of that token is unique. Each of those token has its own like unique address. But it's on the blockchain, meaning you can see it has a timestamp tied to it. It has a history tied to it, and it also has a creator tied to it as well. And all of this stuff you can see. So
and it can't be faked.
No, not at all.
Impossible. That isn't that what gives it value? Is that can't be altered?
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, if it could be altered, we're all screwed. No,
yeah, right.
No. So
it's like a timestamp, pretty much.
Precisely, it's a timestamp. So what made NFTs blew up? I definitely think it was Logan Paul's Pokemon card aspect. But shoes, you had brought up the aspects of shoes. So Nike, I say, makes a line of shoes, right? They make. I'm not a sneakerhead at all, but let's say they make a blue pair, they make a red pair, and they make a green pair of whatever, right? And they create NFTs around those. Now, these NFTs are essentially digital registries that live on the blockchain. So the blue shoes, red shoes, and green shoes, all of those are going to be NFTs on blockchain, but they all going to be different. So let's say there's more people who like the blue shoes than the other two. Now, the blue shoes are going to be valued more. Now, one big misconception is that, and I even see this with new people who create NFTs, they think, oh, this NFT went for $100,000 or $1 million. Now I can just copy that and do the same here. It's like, no, that's not how it works. There's many aspects. One of them is the creator. So since NFTs are on the blockchain and you can verify who the creator is, it's going to be different from buying a pair of shoes from Nike and buying a pair of shoes from Payless. Like, yeah, both might sell the same looking shoe on the surface, but it's the creator that's different. Nike, or another example, Apple and Samsung. I'm just gonna say Apple phones are priced more than Samsung most of the time, but they could have literally the same exact features, the same exact phone, but you're gonna buy more just because it's Apple.
Jesus, man.
That's how it works in real life, is it not?
So you're telling me they're basically branding blockchain?
Well, I won't say they're branding blockchain. I'll say people who already have brands or people who want to brand themselves can do it a lot better because they can authenticate who's who.
Oh,
so,
my God. I see what you mean.
So a good example is when I went out to Mexico, right? The people were selling these burgundy bats of Saint Laurent, what is it, Burberry, all these big names, right? And obviously they look fake, but what if this person was just a good merchant who had a merchant's license to sell you Saint Laurent bags, right? I have no idea. I have no way of verifying that. But let's say this person had an NFT and I could see like, okay, this is indeed was created and processed by you Saint Laurent. So that whole supply chain is going tied to that NFT. You can see it right then and there.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. Wait, you just kind of blew my mind. So it's not even what was created. It's who is. Wow. Okay. Wait one second. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty much like allowing people to authenticate their branding via the internet, because everything can be ripped off on the internet.
Absolutely.
Until now.
Right. So that's the core value of NFTs. So when people start to see all these little artworks and they think they're priced so high, so that's one of the biggest aspects is the creator.
Oh, so okay, that's just one.
That's one big aspect of what makes it valuable.
Okay.
Another one, I'll say the dollar price tag of it is the bidding aspect. So no, people did not just list his artwork for 70 million. I wish anybody could do that, but people, yes, it has been a hype thing, but people bid on it. And now what's even crazier is that these bids can go so high and it's all decentralized, right? And what's cool is that you don't need to see if this person actually has the funds because this person essentially does the transactions right then and there. And you don't have to trust like, oh, I don't want them to run off with my money, or you don't have to worry about your money charging from your card. Since it's directly from your wallet, the smart contract is going to lock those funds in your wallet if you're still in the bid. Now, if somebody outbids you, then they re-release them, obviously. So that's another aspect that makes NFTs valuable, is that people bid on them so heavily.
Okay, so now we have the concept of who created them and the fact that you can prove that it was created by that person.
Right.
Then we have the concept that we all know and love, the value of something in terms of a monetary value, how much people are willing to pay for it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is just weird because you would think that the amount people are willing to pay for it is the value, but it's not. It's the amount people are willing to pay for it ultimately keeps changing the value because now more people want to pay more for it.
Right.
So that's
it's
two.
just supply and demand, essentially.
So then what's the third one?
Now, the third one is the big one, and you had mentioned it earlier. Well, I could just screenshot an NFT and be like that. You could, but you're making the NFT more valuable. And people's like, okay, well, how does that make sense? The meme girl, Disaster Girl, for example, she had created a meme and she had sold it for $500,000. And it was just crazy because people just couldn't fathom that. Oh, but this meme's everywhere. I don't understand. What's the whole point of owning it? I own this meme on my phone. And then I'll have to go in there and say the difference is that, yes, you have that meme on your phone, so that means more people are going to know about it. This just happens with anything. So if more people see that NFT, know about the NFT, that NFT becomes more valuable. Elon Musk, for example. So let's say Elon Musk was just random Joe. He's not. He has 50 million followers on Twitter. Everything he tweets becomes a news headline. So and when his tweets become news headlines, that just makes his words a lot more powerful, meaning he's become more valuable in that regards.
So even if you take his words, you're ultimately just reinforcing his credit.
Absolutely. So
damn.
So let's say someone were to re-upload this. Let's say someone who looks exactly like you, they were to re-upload this podcast and recall it something else, edit it. I don't know, however people do it.
Right.
But people still would know it's us talking. And some people are going to be fooled by it, but ultimately people are going to know is you. So that's just going to expand it on it more. So now artists don't have to worry about people having to rip off their work because they know that it's just ultimately giving them more credit. Now here's a deeper aspect to it, and this ties in with Ethereum 2.0 and things of that sort. Yes, right now, if you screenshot something, people aren't going to know who the creator is. I mean, people can do reverse engine search and stuff like that, but that's just besides the point. We're going to get to a point where Ethereum 2.0 becomes the new internet, and NFTs are going to be the content on this new internet. So video, audio, streaming services, memberships, communications, profiles, identity, all those aspects are going to be in form of NFTs because they're tokens that are each unique, and they're going to live on this new internet. So it doesn't matter where you see this picture, because we're going to have this meta code where you can see where this NFT derived. All it takes is just the person being educated enough to know that. And we're going to get that later on today. So, I mean, not today, later on in the near future.
I was about to jump out of my seat. I was going to say, what a timing.
I was like, yeah, today.
Yeah, right. About 2 hours.
I'm going to say today.
That's funny.
Today, media is derived from a server of some sort. But in the future, it's going to be derived directly from the blockchain. So let's say all these pictures I have on my Instagram, let's say I want to go post them on Twitter. Well, I don't need to copy and paste it on Twitter. I could just be on the blockchain and connect my wallet like, hey, this is me. And then all my images I post on Instagram are going to be posted on Twitter.
Whoa. Okay. Here's something I think a lot of people might be thinking, and what a lot of people would say is like, but bro, like, who cares about where it was made? Like, I still have it, right? Like me and you, right? We're like, oh, well, we can go find out where that originated, so that's what gives it value. But what about for someone who doesn't even like understand that technology and doesn't care? They're like, well, I still have it on my phone, so what?
I say that aspect is a lot different from owning a fake Burberry bag and actually owning a real Burberry bag, or owning a fake Rolex, because there's a lot of fakes out there, and owning a real one.
But here's the thing, right? Like the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
There's one, or I think, or whatever the hell, two. I don't know how many there is. I think there's just one.
I think the real one got destroyed a long time ago, so the one that people see now is a synthetic one, but I can't confirm that, but I think that's what's been heard.
Talk about the highest quality fake. Okay, so like people, I guess it's just, I guess people just need to level up in their mind, because people think like, okay, I got to go to Rome, I think that's where it is, or whatever, and I got to go stand in line for 7 hours to see this physical copy that's right there. And even if I take a picture, even if we replicate it on a piece of paper and we print it out,
on a canvas or something,
that physical copy's right there, and like it's always going to stay right there.
Right.
So people are going to have to start wrapping their head around the concept that same geographic in the world is happening on the internet. So like,
exactly.
Yes, your header is a picture of, Ty or something, right? But Ty himself, or that picture of him actually originates here, and therefore your picture has no value other than the face value.
Right.
Whoa.
We're gonna get to a point where any media is gonna become an NFT first before anything. Right now, if like this podcast, for example, you have to take this podcast and you have to create a digital file of it. Well, in the near far future, let's say realistically 20 to 50 years, that digital file is going to be an NFT itself. So that part is already done for you, or wherever you post it, upload it, or anything of that regards is all up to you on how you do it. And I think that's what's going to make social media very unique in the near future, is because no longer these companies have to keep so much data on their servers. They can just pull it directly from the blockchain.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Holy crap. Okay. Wow. Okay, I got so many things to ask. So
yeah, go ahead.
What about when people say, because I've heard people tell me this too. They're like, well, crypto's not gonna last, even though the technology is great and everything. It's like a power struggle. Like the governments are never gonna let this happen. But they're not in control. Right?
No.
Like, obviously they don't want it to happen, but then you got things like XRP. Like, they're already figuring out, like, all right, well, how are we going to transfer currencies through cryptocurrency? How are we going to...
This is where we go into more where we're defining social social construct and was logically and physically possible. So
what do you think? Because this episode's all about you. Like, because obviously you think crypto's going to take over, and I do too.
Yeah.
But for someone who's on the other spectrum, what would be your like convincing statement, like your thesis to them as to why it's ultimately gonna win?
Because on the blockchain, code is laws, and the reason why the blockchain is unique in the way it is, and this is something even true for the internet, is that the jurisdictions are completely different. So that's why even laws now are having a hard time trying to dictate certain aspects, because there's laws that are written that apply for someone who are, or a group of people or multiple parties who are in the same vicinity. Now, once you deal with things outside of that vicinity, the magnitude and repercussions of the law, if we're to break, multiplies. A good example of this is when I was working on my Streamline startup. It was supposed to be a e-commerce platform where you can buy products with cryptocurrencies, right? That was the concept of it. But I hadn't needed what was called a money transmitter license, just because the way I was going about it made sense and it was the best way to go about it. And they said, okay, well, if you're just going to sell to people in your state, then it's fine. But then now if you're going to sell to people, let's say all over the world, then you got to get all these different licenses. And the cost of it went from a couple thousand to upwards of 2.5 million.
Oh my, and licensing?
And licensing. So
That's that closed lobby crap, man. That's so annoying. Keep going. Keep going. My bad.
No, you're fine. So the reason why I know for sure cryptocurrency and blockchain is going to win is because, and we're already seeing it now, a lot of people are manifesting their own viewpoint of the world through a digital medium. And that digital medium, yes, has been pretty much centralized, but now it's becoming decentralized. And all interactions are going to be peer-to-peer, essentially.
So what you're saying is it's giving the common person a chance. And that's why it's going to win.
Yes. That's how anything always ever wins, is once it gives something valuable to the masses are the people. And yeah, you know, you can go into these different governing rules, laws, and things of that sort. It's just with blockchain, it is definitive. That's why NFTs are so powerful. It is definitive. I don't have to argue who owns Beeple's 69 million NFT. I don't have to argue how many Bitcoin you own. People don't need to argue that. And people's like, oh, well, what do you mean by that? I mean that even beyond that. So when this can apply to even when you're getting a credit. The bank doesn't need to check. When you do a credit check, that dings your credit. When it comes to blockchain, cryptocurrency, stuff like that, people, they don't need to check. When they check it, they don't need to ding it. It's there. There's
no hard
visible.
pull.
Right. And that's where we're going to get into like zero knowledge proof, where it protects most of your identity and and you send it, let's say, so how zero knowledge proof works from my understanding is you have a identity. Let's say someone who wants to go to the bar, right? And you have to give them your ID. Well, all your information is your address, your name, when you're born, all that stuff. And that's pretty much damaging in this day and age. Zero knowledge proof instead is going to have to be in some digital medium, some sort. They'll check this QR code and your device or program sends a code that says, hey, is this person under 21? Or over 21, and it's going to reply yes or no, just binary, right? You don't need know my address, you don't need to know my name, you don't need to know any of that,
because that's in there, but it's protected on the back end,
right? It's protected in the network. So all the bar needs to know is, hey, are they over 21 or are they under? And yeah, they can argue like, oh, well, I can't really trust that, this, that, and a third, but that's how things are going to be, because it's a trustless system. So the system, it's not completely out there now, but that's how things are eventually going to be.
So this is going to sound really weird, but it's a trustless system that builds trust on the concept of no trust.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Because going back to the crazy girlfriend situation, she doesn't trust her boyfriend, but if her boyfriend's doing everything right, then she can start trusting him, because there's nothing for her to not trust him about.
Right. Wow. Okay. Wow.
But she's still going to check it because she still doesn't trust him. But she can trust him more and be with him because she's like, well, he's not doing anything, so I can be with him more.
That's so crazy. Wow. I love it. Okay. Here's the thing. We're talking about no trust, and I feel like this is the perfect time to bring up the meme coins.
Oh, yeah.
To bring up the meme coins.
Yes.
Look,
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and give you my rundown. I know I did before we were on the air, but I'll do it for the people listening. So the only meme coins I'm in is Safe Moon. Shout out to Patrick. Patrick him. Got me in Safe Moon.
Yeah.
I told him if it blows up, I owe him a stack or two. But I got in Safe Moon. Doing great. It's about like 5x right now. 6x for me, my original investment. And then I'm in NFT art finance. I'm only
that
up.
was an interesting one.
Yeah, I'm only up like 100%, nothing crazy. And then I'm in Omi.
Omi's good. I love Omi.
Will put me onto Omi. And then I think Graph, but I don't think that's,
Graph is having some stagnant growth right now, but it's a good project for long term.
Yeah, so other than that, I'm just in XRP, got in early, and then Ethereum and Stellar. That's it. That's all I got. So I'm really not a meme coin guy, but SafeMoon, man, I love it so much. Like, how do you feel about them? Because I know you're the expert, bro. I know you know. I mean, I know there's no such thing as a safe coin, but at the same time, like there is nowadays.
Yeah.
So it gets weird.
I say for a lot of the meme coins that are out there, this happens all the time. It even happens in real life, anytime there's going to be a successful product in one thing, you're going to get copycats. That's just the way it is. Whether it's in how it looks, the branding or functionality, you're going to get copycats. That's just the way it is. So a lot of these meme coins are, in a sense, going to be copycats of each other because they say, "Hey, you're making money. I can do that too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna make some money."
Safe Moon, Safe Mars, Safe Galaxy, Safe
Safe
Spore.
Universe.
Yeah, right. Jeez.
So yeah, you're just gonna have those, and like I said, I'm pretty much a crypto neutral individual. So make your money how you're gonna make your money. But I always say when I say there's better coins out there, I say it from the aspects of the use case, because yeah, this meme coin can be here today, but it can be gone tomorrow. And there's aspects, and I've been personally victim to certain scams and rug pulls and things
Me
of that
too.
sort that happens.
Fucking
as well.
anti-Doge, man. Were you in that?
No, I wasn't in the anti-Doge, but I was in other things too.
I lost $100 because of that.
So that's why I'm a big firm believer, and this is something my friend Alex had told me about. He's to say, well, if you do dollar cost averaging on any coin over time, you're gonna build up your good portfolio. And this is something that I do when it comes to these meme coins. I put in a little, something I'm willing to lose, and if I see it doing well, I'm like, okay, I put more. Like I don't see crypto, for me personally, as a get rich quick type of aspect. Now there are some aspects of it, and there are people who do get wealthy off of it in a rapid amount of time, but the probability of it isn't something that should be mainly focused on. And I say the main reason it's happening now is because we're in a strong bull run, and people can make any coin do anything, whatever it does. And as long as it has the hype, people are going to invest in it. So that's why I think people are starting to get this kind of bias of it right now. But that isn't going to be norm when things start to become further more established, and the culture of it will change to be favored more towards projects with strong use cases.
I definitely agree. Yeah, like versatility. I mean, not versatility. The ability to actually like use it, have a utility function. It means a lot. But here's another thing, right? And I was having this same conversation yesterday. We're saying that based off the data we have in the past, right? Like bull cycles usually in 4 years, this and that.
Right.
But this year's been interesting, man. This year's been interesting.
It should have crashed by now. To be honest.
I know, and we did start to have a retracement around April. Everything dipped hard, but except for Ethereum, and everything's bounced back now. So it's almost like okay, yeah. Usually it goes in 4-year cycles, bull runs. And then, once again, you got to have an exit strategy. And then when's the bull run going to end and how far is it going to retrace? But it's like, geez, man, like when you see Bitcoin 28, 30, 35, 40, oh, it cleared 50, oh, it cleared 60. Oh, they're saying it's going to clear 200 by the end of the year. You're like, oh my God, like, what do you do? Like, especially with Ethereum, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like, they're saying Ethereum's supposed to be at like 30 G's by the end of the year.
Yeah.
What kind of... That's not a bull run. That's exponential. Like that's like, how do you even come down from that?
All I can say, take any crypto and look at its numbers. If that was applied to stocks, that would be the talk of the town right now. I will tell you that for sure.
Crazy.
One of the things is cryptocurrency is a raw market, meaning it's very community driven. So anything goes. People say it's a wild west, and people want it to be regulated. But I think that's what gives it its flair and what makes it different. How it's going to happen later on down the line is going to be varied, just depending by current country or jurisdiction. But I think ultimately, the cryptocurrency will be the central aspect that. Well, I'm gonna say central. It will be the vehicle that starts to bring a lot of underserved markets on a financial standpoint. So when people start to see all these numbers tossed out. I'm a person who would say just ignore it because if they don't know the tokenomics of it, then they're going to be swayed by someone who believes X, whatever. People are going to be swayed, and that's how anything is. And I'm all for it, but I'm someone who backs things by logic. So Dogecoin is a perfect example. For me, when I invested in Dogecoin back in 2018, I had around 1 million or so Dogecoin. It was a decent amount, and this was at like less than 10% of a penny or something like that. it was, I invested Dogecoin for about 4 months, but when most of the crypto markets was going up, Dogecoin was just, still steady. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna sell a good bit of that.
That's a regret right there.
It is. But then also at the same time, I'm like, well, that's just how it is. But I feel like what made Dogecoin pop, I thought Dogecoin was going to be a dead project. But here's some interesting aspects that really brought it up to light. One of them is being during the GameStop short squeeze that went on at the end of January. A lot of these people saw Dogecoin, and all they saw was the unit price. They said, "Hey, most people thought it was stock. They said, "Hey, this stock is less than a penny on Robinhood. I have $1. I can get me like 100 of these or something like that." That was so profound to a lot of people. People didn't even know about that. And so when people started investing in it, then you had big influencers like Elon Musk or other people like push it. And then when people see these big figures pushing this coin, they see them as an idol. So then they want to be on it as well. Regardless of the underlying what's under the iceberg, regardless of whatever they have in terms of use case, they disregard all that. They say, hey, this person says to buy this, it's going to go up. All right, I'm going to buy it. And it's cheap enough. And if it becomes the price of Bitcoin, then I'm going to be rich. But that is not how it works at all.
So it's like a pump and dump.
In a sense, I believe there's only like 10 people that own 70 or 80% of the Doge supply, which is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, 10 people.
Talk about a whale.
Absolutely.
They're probably pissed about SNL.
Right. So just to wrap it up, when people look at these new coins, they have to look at the tokenomics. And what I mean by tokenomics, at least start with knowing what the market cap is and knowing the circulating supply of the tokens. The reason for that being because that's how the coins get their price. Another incident was a year ago, in July 2020, when year in finance went up to 40 grand and Bitcoin was only at 9 grand. People say, "Oh, year in finance is the most valuable cryptocurrency." I was like, no, it's not. It wasn't even in the top 50 when it was at 45. But what made it valuable is that they only had 20,000 coins compared to Bitcoin's 18 million coins in circulations. But at the time, Bitcoin had a market cap of like 500 billion, and year in finance only had 500 million or something like that.
Damn, man. People just don't understand that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah, it's some math involved, but it's really not that complicated.
Jeez, dude.
So when people say, "Oh, Dogecoin's going up to 50 grand, I'm gonna be rich," I'm like, look at the market cap, look at the circulating
that's
supply.
like all the money in the world times like 12 or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not happening. Well, here's the thing, man. Believe it or not, we've been going for about an hour, right?
Oh, really?
So before we get out of here, what would be your last like crypto message to the world? Or it doesn't even have to be crypto. What would be your message to the world?
Oh man, my crypto message. There's so much about crypto, bro. I'll definitely say do your research. Oh, I gotta look to the camera. Do your research. That is number one. Because it's easy to get swayed by the big green prices and 3-4 digit percentage ROIs in days or even weeks sometimes. But definitely do your research. Look at what the coin's about. If you want to, this is not financial advice. Anything we said is not financial advice. But invest your money however you feel comfortable with. That's one thing I will say. And just be prepared of watch out what big companies and big governments are doing. I think that's going to be the next big play because, yes, they can't stop crypto, but they can certainly stop access or at least restrict access. And that's one thing I am scared about, the accessibility, because when accessibility becomes restricted, then that's when innovation and adoption also becomes restricted too. So,
Jeez.
Do your research and look at what big governments are doing and invest only what you're comfortable with. Those are my 3 messages.
Hey, man, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's been great. I feel like I learned a ton, and we're definitely going to have to sit down again maybe in like a year just because of how fast this market moves. Yeah. But just like every other time, man, my name's Charbel Milan. Today we got
Ty Cooper, also known as the Crypto Priest.
And this has been a time shared. And quick. How can they find you on social media?
You can find me anywhere at Ty Cooper AOW. I changed my Instagram handle from Ty Technician to Ty Cooper AOW 2.0 because the original Ty Cooper, the Instagram had took me off. I don't know why, but I can't get the username back. So
That's crazy.
yeah, just Ty Cooper AOW.
Oh, screw them for that. But hell yeah, man. Thanks again. It's been great.